Yeah, so it's about time. I should start in 30 seconds now, huh?
Yeah, you can start by Maharaja.
Okay. All right. So, Hare Krishna, everybody. I welcome you all, boys and girls, for this Srimad Bhagvatam story class this morning. I hope you have enjoyed your weekend very nicely, and I hope you have done good in your Kahoot game also last Friday. If you have any questions on some of the questions that has been asked, you can ask me after this session. So now I'm going to speak for 30 minutes and you're all going to be silent. So during that time, you just hear attentively and make any notes that you have to. Write down your questions that you have. So when we go to question answer session, we can do it fast also. That will help us. Okay. So please hear attentively. Make a note if you want to. And before I start my session, I would like to recite some slokas as an invocation prayers to invoke the auspiciousness. So please hear that also attentively because they are Vedic hymns. They are very pure, directly coming from spiritual world. So even if you do not understand, when you hear them, you will experience joy in your heart. So I will begin with the Evangelical Prayers now. Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksuram Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Svapadantikam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udhirayet Nastaprayesu Abhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Guruve Gaur Chandraya Sri Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Krupa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. I welcome you again on this Srimad Bhagavatam story class today, this morning. So last week we were discussing about how and why one should attain perfection in human form of life. Since we got this human form, how can we make it perfect? And why we should be made perfect? Now to answer why, because human life is difficult to achieve. It is very rare. We only can get human life after accumulating the results of pious activities which may have performed in our past lives. So, as I explained last week, Brahma have created 6 types of bodies, and one of them is that lives in the water, for example, fish, crocodile, like that. The second type of body is non-moving entity, which are normally plants, trees, like that, which do not move. They also have a soul. Some may believe that the plant and trees and bushes may not have soul, but that is not correct. They do have a soul. The third type of body is of insects, serpents, mosquitoes, like that. So many varieties like that. And the fourth type of body that Brahma creates is that flies in the sky, different kind of birds. And then we also see different kinds of animals, like mostly four-legged. They are horse, lions, tigers, deers, so many of those varieties. And then the last one is human form of life. So these are the six kinds of bodies that Brahma created. Now, if we do not get perfection in this human form of life that we got, then we may have to enter into one of these six types of bodies again, and then, and how we got that body, that depends on according to our karma, our activity that we perform in this life, as well as also it may be the result of our previous lives activities also. And then what happens if we do not perfect our life, this human form of life, then again birth and death cycle will come. Birth and it's like a cycle. It is called like a bhava rog, means it is like a material, we will be wandering into the material world. We will be wandering from one universe to another universe, one planet to another planet, one womb of mother to another womb of mother, and that can be any, depending on our karma, that six type of body that I have described. So we have to think about it basically, really, So God has given this human form of life by his mercy. It is also said that what we are is God's gift to us, and what we will be is our gift to God. So we have to decide what kind of gift we want to give it to God. Isn't that whenever we want to give a gift to someone, we think and we decide, what is the best suited for him, So here, God has already given us a gift. We got human body. So now you decide what kind of gift you would like to give it to God. So he will be pleased. You have to reciprocate. God has already reciprocated with you, giving you a human body. So the conclusion is, that means we have to make our human life perfect. And here in this chapter that we are dealing with, second chapter of Shrimad Bhagvatam, Sutta Goswami advises Naimisaranya, that are gathered there. All the story that there are 88,000 sages gathered in forest of Naimisaranya under the leadership of Savanakarusi, and they are asking questions to Sutta Goswami. So to answer their question, Sutta Goswami now says that to make human life perfect, one has to, with one pointed attention, one should always hear about Krishna, one should glorify Krishna, one should remember Krishna and worship Lord Krishna, who is protector of the devotees. As we know from Shrimad Bhagvatam and many other places, and you may have heard it also, that Lord protects all his devotees. Now, I will name few of them. There are a number of devotees that Krishna protected them. Some of them are like King Parikshit, Prahlada Maharaj, Ambrish Maharaj, Elephant Gajendra, Haridas Thakur, Pandavas, especially Draupadi, Narsingh Mehta, Mirabai, Tukaram in our Gujarat state. So many devotees, just to name them, But then I will describe like 2 or 3 depending on our time frame, how Lord Krishna protected them. Okay, so first of all, I will take the example of King Parikshit. When he was in mother's womb, his mother name was Uttara and his father was Abhimanyu. Abhimanyu was killed in the war, and Uttara was carrying his baby in her womb. So then Uttara, what happened that Aswathama, a son of Dronacharya, if you have seen the Mahabharata, you probably recall this incident or this episode, that Aswathama, after the war, releasing an arrow to kill that Parikshit Maharaj who was in the womb of his mother, because he was the last descendant in that family to rule the kingdom. So Aswathama wants to kill him. So Subhadra running came to Lord Krishna. At that time, the war was over, so Lord Krishna was about to go to his place, which is Dwarka from Hastinapur. Hastinapur nowadays known as Delhi. So all people of Pandava's family, Yudhishthira, Arjun, all this, they came to say goodbye to Lord Krishna, and Lord Krishna was about to climb up on his chariot to go to Dwarka, and Subhadra came running there asking for help to save his baby in the womb. So Krishna was so compassionate by hearing the prayers of Uttara, he took a form of a thumb size sort of, and entered into the womb of Uttara and saved the Parikshit by his Sudarshan Chakra, keeping around that womb in the womb, so that way arrow will not have effect on the Parikshit Maharaj. So that is how he saved it. I mean, there is a long story, but I'm just giving you brief to it, that how Lord Krishna saved Parikshit Maharaj in his mother's womb. Then next, I will say about Prahlada Maharaja. Some of you may have heard it also, but those who haven't heard it, they can hear it very attentively also. Prahlada was a boy, he was 5-year-old, and he was preaching to his class fellows, his classmates, about Krishna consciousness, means how to worship Krishna, how to chant Vishnu's name, like that. He was teaching that thing. And he was the son of a powerful atheist king, Hiranyakasipu. So this Hiranyakasipu one day become curious, and he knows the news that Prahlad is preaching his enemy's name, Vishnu's name, Krishna's name. So he called those teachers and asked him, what is this Hare Krishna? I understand all the boys are chanting some nonsense name of God. Why are you teaching this? Hiranyakasipu told teachers. The teachers were the son of Sukracharya, Sananda, and they were. Then the teachers answered to Hiranyakasipu, Sir, we do not know where your son has learned this Hare Krishna mantra, but he's ruining the whole class, even our whole school. We have only taught him mathematics, economics, history, and other subjects, but we don't know where he is get it from. But he's preaching to the other children every day whenever he get a chance. So then Hiranyakasipu was in puzzle, and he called his son because this father of Prahlada Maharaja was materialist, and he wanted his son to get a good education, like become a doctor, lawyer, or IT engineers, whatever. And then he wants him to advance in politics, how to rule kingdom, how to get money, like that, how to maintain the material life. So that was his ambition for his son. So the Hiranyakasipu here now made Prahlad to sit on his lap, and he was asking very softly. He said, "My dear son, what is the best thing you have learned from your teachers?" So at that time, Prahlad replied very honestly. He addressed his father, a best of the demon. That means, foremost of all atheists, and best of the demons means the, best among asuras, like that. So he said that I haven't learned any good thing from my teachers, but I do know best thing. He emphasized that I haven't learned it from my teachers, but I do know the best thing. And he said, then Hiranyakasipu asked him, what is the best thing that you know? So he explained to his father that the best thing that I have learned is to leave this dark, well, material life and to take shelter of Krishna, Vishnu, So when Hiranyakasipu heard Vishnu's name, Krishna's name, because that was his enemy. So it broke his heart, like it cannot be repaired, in that situation. So he was really angry. And in that angry mood, he became so angry and he threatened his son, that, and he simply, at that time, what happened, whatever Prahlad learned from his spiritual master Narad, he was remembering when Hiranyakasipu was giving him trouble, all kinds of trouble. We'll see that, how he was troubled by his father. So finally, what he does is, he took his son, this boy, personally dragged him outdoor to a nearby cliff. And then this Hiranyakasipu, he threw Prahlad from the cliff downward. But what happened, because Krishna, Vishnu is all pervading, as we know, Vishnu everywhere living, he caught hold of the devotees, Prahlada Maharaja, and saved him. So here Hiranyakasipu was again puzzled and didn't know what to do, because he was saved, even though he was thrown from the cliff. So his anger is intensified now. Now, what to do, So he tried to destroy the life of Prahlad by one or another means. What he did, he get a great pot of water boiling and pushed the boy into it. And then also he was tried to hurt Prahlada Maharaja in many ways. Like he was trying to freeze the boy in the snowstorm, and he tried to tear apart by the winds of hurricane. But Prahlad was in direct spiritual communion with Krishna. So he was all the time protected by the intervention of his worshipable Lord Krishna. So Hiranyakasipu now threw his son into a pit of snake. There was a pit of snake, and he threw his son into pit of snake. But they did not harm him. He placed Prahlada Maharaja under the foot of an elephant. But look what elephant did. The elephant with his trunk, he picked the Prahlada Maharaja and placed him on his back for a ride. So Hiranyakasipu was again surprised. So he became angry, more angry, and then he told Prahlada's mother to give him poison, so the boy can die. But there is no effect of poison either. Then Hiranyakasipu finally picked the boy up in his own hands and hurled him to the floor, and tried to smash him like a rock. But then again, he was saved by the Krishna. So then he was really furious, he was asking, Hiranyakasipu was asking, where do you get all this supernatural power from that you are being saved, So Prahlad replied that I'm getting power same place from where you getting your power. So he was then, didn't like the answer, because he was thinking that what power he got is not from God, but that is his own power. He got it from Brahma, because he got a benediction from Brahma that he will never die. Never die means he will not, he had asked the benedictions which are like a roundabout way which he will not die. For example, I'll give you a couple. He said he will not die during the day, he will not die during the night, like that. He will not die with a human, with any weapon, with any animal, like that, So all these roundabout boons, he has asked for not to die. But then, you can see that finally, when Hiranyakasipu asked that, where is your Lord? Then Hiranyakasipu said, he's everywhere. So then Hiranyakasipu said, is he in this pillar also? There was a big pillar in the palace. I said, yeah, he's everywhere. So to keep that Prahlada Maharaja's, what he said, Lord in a Narsinga roop appeared from that pillar. So he took a form of like half man, half lion, and then he took the Hiranyakasipu in his lap, and he sat on the threshold of this palace. So it is not like inside, outside, and used his nails to tear apart Prahlada Maharaj, which is the nails are not considered either dead or alive, like that. So these are the conditions being fulfilled, and Lord killed him, and he protected Prahlada Maharaj like that, So this is the another devotee's example. Then I'll take one more example of devotee, how he saved Ambrish Maharaj. King Ambrish was a very well-known king. He was Sarvabhaum, like he was ruling the whole planet. And you may have heard about the name of Durvasa Muni. Durvasa Muni, he is known for giving curse to the people, all these people that he come across, that was he's known for. But there was time when he was helpless before the power of the humble follower of Lord Vishnu, which is Ambrish Maharaj, So the story goes like this, that Ambrish was a king and he was deeply into following of Lord Vishnu. So we'll see how Lord Vishnu protected him. So he and his queen used to observe various fasts over the year, especially Ekadasi, So on Ekadasi, and second day is like a Dwadasi, where you have to do Paran, means you have to break the Ekadasi. So Durvasa Muni, he came to his palace, Amrish Maharaj's palace, to visit him. So Amrish Maharaj welcomed him very nicely and offered him, that please take a lunch with us, you know. So Durvasa Muni said, okay, I will go nearby lake and take a bath. And he normally travels with his so many disciples also. So all of them went to bath. Meanwhile, what happened here is that the time for breaking Ekadasi was coming nearer, because you have to break the Ekadasi at proper time on next day, Dwadasi day. If you don't do it, then your Ekadasi will not be observed properly. So in order to do that, with the guidance of sages with their advice, what Amrish Maharaj took is like few drops of water, he sip it through to break the Ekadasi. Now, when you do Nirjala Ekadasi, means without water, don't eat anything and not even water, then you can break with few drops of water also. So that way he broke the Ekadasi. But when Durvasa Muni knew about, because he is a transcendental personality, he is knower, he can know that this is what had happened. So he became furious. And then he came there all of a sudden, and then he created a demoness from his hair, and so that demoness can kill Ambrish, But instead, Vishnu's chakra, the Sudarshan chakra came and killed demoness, And that chakra was running behind Durvasa Muni now to, take care of Durvasa Muni also. And so Durvasa Muni was like going all over the place, to save himself. He went to Shiva, Brahma, but nobody could save him, And then finally he went to Vishnu. And Vishnu also said that because you have insulted, you have offended my devotee, I cannot save you either. So this is how, he saved the Ambrish Maharaj also from the wrath of Durvasa Muni. So we can see here, by following this, by history of these pure devotees, how Lord Krishna or Lord Vishnu saved them. So these devotees have perfected their human form of life by chanting the God's name, by hearing about Krishna, by remembering him, and by worshipping him. By hearing about Krishna, you can see that many people have perfected their life. Now, there is one incident in Bhagvatam where we also find the case where Rukmini decided to marry Krishna after hearing about Krishna. She did not see Krishna, but when she was a child and when she came to the youth age, she was hearing from Narad Muni and all the sages. They were coming to her palace. They were talking about Krishna. They were talking about Krishna's beauty. They were talking about Krishna's good qualities. They were talking about Krishna's pastimes, so many things. They were talking about Krishna's glory of his chanting holy name. So all the time, when some sages come, Rukmini used to hear about Krishna. And only by hearing, without seeing Krishna, she decided that I want to marry Krishna. So that is the power of hearing. So when we hear about Krishna, because Krishna is transcendental, his name, his beauty, his fame, everything is transcendental. So when we hear about them, then we also can purify ourselves. So in this age in which we live in Kali Yuga, the Yuga Dharma, as you can see in your slide here, there are different Yuga Dharmas for different yugas, to make human life perfect. So, and as far as chanting the name, there is no restriction for chanting God's name. You can chant anywhere, in any place, in any condition. The effect of chanting, that it will remove our sins. As you can see in the slide, there are 4 yugas, and according to the different yugas, there are different process of self-realization. For example, in Satya Yuga, people were used to do meditation. In Treta Yuga, they used to do yagna, fire sacrifice. In Dwapar Yuga, they were doing opulent temple worship. And in Kali Yuga, you see the hand and the chanting bead in his hand. The chanting the holy name of his Supreme Lord is the Yuga Dharma. Means that is what his medicine is given to us to get perfect our human form of life, So this is the message I will give today. We'll continue tomorrow further on this subject matter. So now we will open up for question and answer. Thank you for your listening very patiently. So now everyone can be ready to ask their questions. The administrator will handle your questions, and I will answer one by one. Okay. Thank you very much for listening to me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for wonderful class. So I request all the participants, please raise your hands. So I will take one by one and ask, please unmute yourself and ask questions. And Prabhuji gives answer. So the first one is Shriyas Bharadwaj. Please unmute yourself. Shriyas Bharadwaj.
So Prabhuji, my question is, what? So how did Taksha know where Parikshit Maharaj was there on the 7th day when Shringi cursed Parikshit to that the snake is going to kill him on the 7th day?
Mm-hmm. So what is the question? What is the question? Hare Krishna. Mataji?
Yes,
Haribol.
Prabhuji.
Yeah, I'm asking him what is the question that I didn't hear the first part. I knew that he was talking about Taksak snake.
Can you ask the question? Please unmute yourself. Okay, Prabhuji. So should we take another one? It's a Shlok Mehta. Shlok Mehta, please unmute yourself.
My question is that how did the chakra save Parikshit?
How did Chakra save Parikshit Maharaj? Yes, so because the Chakra can prevent the attack from the arrow that was released by Aswathama, because the Chakra was moving around the Parikshit Maharaj in his mother's womb, when he was in a baby form. Chakra was rotating around that baby. So arrow will not pierce through the baby's body.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, you're welcome.
The next one is Ananya. Ananya, please unmute yourself and ask question.
Okay, so basically my question is that why didn't teachers teach their students about the Hare Krishna chant?
What about it's not clear to me. Can you say it again?
Okay, so my question was why didn't the teachers teach the Hare Krishna chant?
Oh, they were from the demons family. their father Sukracharya was a priest for a demon.
Okay, so
Demons do not take the name of Vishnu or Krishna.
so then why? So then why didn't So why did the boy? Why did the boy say the chants?
Why the boy says to chant his classmate? Okay, but sometimes, you know, what happened in the classroom, sometimes teachers go away for some time. So normally some student, you know, become the monitor of the class and try to control the class or something. So he was getting this kind of opportunity in between. So at that time, he used to teach his classmates, you know, this Hare Krishna mantra. Because Prahlad learned it from his mother's womb also, Kayadu. His mother's name is Kayadu. When he was in Kayadu's, his mother's womb, Narad Muni gave him this knowledge of Krishna Bhakti, the devotion service to Lord.
Okay, I get it now. Thank
Okay.
you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. You're welcome. Next.
Next one is Hemant. Hemant, please unmute yourself.
I don't have a question.
Okay. Jhalak, please unmute yourself. Jhalak.
Yeah. So why are we going to learn about Dulcie, how she got her plant form?
What is it?
How did Dulcie Maharani got her
Tulsi Maharani.
plant form?
Tulsi Maharani. What about Tulsi Maharani?
How did Tulsi Maharani got a plant form?
Oh, how did, okay. Well, which is not the subject matter of our discussion, but anyway, the Tulsi Maharani, it's like, is also known as Vranda Devi. She is the protector of Vrindavan forest and also the helper of Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan. Okay? So like in her real Swarup, the Vranda Devi is there in Vrindavan all the time, protecting the Vrajavasis as well as giving bhakti and also helping the Krishna's pastime there. But then there is a story regarding Vranda Devi and other aspect which I will bring it at a proper time when we discuss about Tulsi plant. Okay.
Okay.
But thanks for your
Thank
curiosity.
you.
Thanks for your curiosity to know about it.
Nishita. Nishita, please unmute yourself.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes. Do you have a
Yeah.
question?
Yes. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
My question is, like, why did Hiranyakasipu have an enemy of Lord Krishna or Lord Vishnu?
Why did who?
Why did Hiranyakasipu
Uh-huh.
have an enemy of Krishna or Lord Vishnu?
Okay. For that, there is a long story, but I will give you a short answer for that. The Hiranyakasipu and Hiranyaks, they were actually his gatekeeper in Vishnu Loka.
What does the gatekeeper mean?
Joy and Vijay. Pardon me?
What does a gatekeeper mean?
Gatekeepers means those are the people who stand at the gate and protect somebody getting into it without permission of the person living inside. That is
Okay.
okay. It's like a guard. You understand guard?
What?
So guard who is standing at the gate.
Okay.
Keeper. Okay. So they normally won't allow, all people into the palace. That's why it's like a gatekeeper. So originally, Hiranyakasipu and Hiranyaks, they were both brothers. They were like in this Vaikuntha planet, they were Jai and Vijay, you know. But one time it so happened that 4 Kumaras came there for darshan of Vishnu, and these Jai and Vijay, being the gatekeeper, they did not allow these 4 Kumaras to enter into the palace. That is why they cursed him to, you know, that you go to earthly planet, you know, fall down like that. So, and then you become a demon, you know, like that. So that's why actually, you know, in another sense, we can see that they became Rakshasas to help the pastimes of Lord Krishna. Because when he comes here, he plays the pastimes to attract the conditioned soul like us. So Jai and Vijay, in the first birth, they became Hiranyaks and Hiranyakasipu. You know, then they became Ravan and Kumbhakarna. And in the third birth, they became Dantvakra and Sisupal. You know, you will know these things and story as we further learn from Shrimad Bhagvatam. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
You're welcome. Hare Krishna.
Next one is Shriyas Bharadwaj. Please ask your question, Shriyas.
So I was saying, how did Taksha know where was Parikshit Maharaj on the 7th day when Shringi cursed Parikshit Maharaj that a snake called Taksha on the 7th day is going to kill you?
Yeah. So how snake knew about it?
Yeah.
Okay. Very good question. Okay. Actually, the Takshak snake, they lives in the below, like they in a hellish planet below the Earth planet. So there are 6 planets below the Earth, and there are 7 planets above the Earth, and the Earth is another. So there are like 14 planets altogether. So the Taksaks lives there, but see, because they are all transcendental, they know about it, and because they are the like whatever was happening during that time. At that time, we don't have like this kind of a communication system, you know, but they knew it by that transcendental power that they have to go and bite the snake. But actually, Taksak went there, but before that, Parikshit Maharaj was liberated because he was hearing Bhagavad Katha. So it was kind of an excuse for a snake to bite him and in that way, but it was not really that Taksak, he got bitten by Taksa and then he died. Before that, he was liberated.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
You're welcome. Hare Krishna. Bharadwaj.
The next one is Krishna. Krishna, please unmute yourself. Okay. The next one is Akshara. Akshara.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. My question is, what was the process about performing the fire sacrifices in Treta Yuga?
What cause? What did you say?
What was the process?
Oh, process of doing sacrifice. Okay. So just like if you notice right now also people do sacrifice. They make and you see in the picture, they make like a kund and then they burn these wood log and then they offer so many things, like they can offer coconut, butter, apple, like all this kind. That is what we do now. You may see that probably. But during those days, it was like very grand sacrifice, yagna, where they were sacrificing so many precious things also, like that. And normally the beneficiary of this yagna is Vishnu. Okay, so the process of performing yagna is collecting so many paraphernalias, you know, and just giving oblation into the fire, you know, put into the fire. You got it?
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, to give wonderful answers. So, Prabhu, 6 students are left because the class in time is going. It's 11:46. So, I request please come tomorrow a little early, like 5-10 minutes early, and you can ask your question. Please write down on your notebook. The name is Krishna, Nihal, Shri, Aditi, and Amala, Charit, Srini. So please write your portion, today's portions, and tomorrow you can come little early, 5-10 minutes before, and ask your questions. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, once again.
You're welcome. Okay, so I'll log it out. I'll log out then. And we'll see you at 2 o'clock.
Thank you so much.